conversation with you. We were just kind of talking behind the scenes because I think this is just powerful. I was just sharing with you, and I'll share with you guys who are listening to us. You're probably one of the greatest examples of my ideal client for so many reasons. And so I'm excited because it's been a while since we've been on camera, just you and I together having a conversation, and so much has changed. I was looking at your last case study. We were talking about your first $30,000 month. So we haven't done a case study with you alone or an interview with you alone since then. And
I've done several months since then.
Yeah, you've had several six-figure months since then. So we have had you on, but you've been on with a group. So I was going back and looking. I'm like, oh, here's an opportunity for us to share, because you're going into your third year. You're in your third year of coaching with me. And so it's been an incredible journey watching you rise and watching you own your power to the fullest and just unveiling and releasing all of those layers. So thank you for being here first and foremost.
I'm happy to be here again.
With your face beat to the gods like normal.
Thank you. I love playing in makeup. You know that.
I know. It's just fun watching you be in all your elements. So I want to do something really quick before we jump in. I want to introduce the series, and I want to give people an invitation to join us for the Giants program that's coming up. So I'm going to do that first, and then we'll dive into our conversation. This is one, guys, you want to share, tag some people, because it's going to be a really powerful conversation, because this journey has been a super powerful journey. And I am really grateful for Gabrielle for just opening up and being willing to share her journey. So she's no stranger to the plight of a giant. And today we're going to have a conversation with her about her journey from where she was to being able to create six-figure months, and now her journey to millionaire status. And so it's going to be a really fun conversation. What I want to talk about is this shift that I've been talking about that has occurred in every client that I've helped to ascend into their next level. And whether that's been their first five-figure sale, their first six-figure year, their first six-figure month, becoming a millionaire, the shift is palpable. The shift is visual. You can see it. Like, you can scroll their timeline and see every level as it clicks in. You can feel it. And so this month, we're having these conversations with clients because I want you to be inspired to know that it's possible for you. It's not just me doing it. It's not just all these people out there that maybe you're putting on pedestals, but other women who maybe you admire, or you feel like you're just like them and you're like, oh crap, if they can do this, I can do that. I'm celebrating them because they have been making shifts. They've trusted, they've been open, they've moved into deeper alignment. And that's the journey for all of us who have this giant lying dormant inside of us, waiting to be awakened. It's moving from fear into trust. It's daring to be seen in your full power. That's a big one. And what it is, and what I'm giving you, is an invitation to remember who you are. Sound like Mufasa. Remember who you are. But that's how I feel. And so here's a short invitation to the masterclass. I have 3 scholarships left this week. Every week I've been giving away 3 scholarships to the Giants program. And the Giants program is about all of that we just talked about. It's 10 full days. It's a micro program that I put together. It's $777 right now. But I'm giving away scholarships. There's 3 left for this week. All you have to do is message me in Instagram or on Facebook with the word Giants. You can go check out the class there. And if you are one of the lucky 3 that's left for this week, I will give you a secret code to use. All right, Gabrielle, so we're going to start this conversation that I'm super excited about. The first thing I want you to do, though, is just share with everybody who you are. What do you do in the world?
Yes. So I'm Gabrielle Leonard. I help my clients close high-end and private and corporate clients. My bread and butter is corporate contracting. And so that's what I work with my clients to do. But the biggest part of what I do with my clients is the internal work of getting to the place where you can receive high-end corporate, 6-figure corporate contracts. And that's what I do. I'm the best in the world at doing that. And that's what I'm really proud of as well, because it took some time to get here, but I'm here.
You're here. So, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about your journey, like to getting to the place that you are today. So I'm going to circle back. We were having this conversation. This is like your 3rd year mentoring with me. You are in Proximity, which is my highest level program. It's kind of cool because do you remember our sales conversation?
I think I do. When I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yes. We were having a conversation and you were doing like VIP days. I think they were like $2,000, $2,500. Plus they had like 90 days of work on the back end of them. And I was like, you could easily charge $10,000 for that. And you were like, okay. You said so.
I'm like, okay. Sure.
Yeah. And I know that shortly after that, you did start charging $10,000 for those and you were able to celebrate. You were celebrating.
Actually, 5,000 because I was like, I'm gonna do 5,000 because let me work my way up. But yeah.
So it's been cool watching you. Like, so we went from there to $10,000 days. We went from there to now you're doing 6-figure months. Well, we talked about the $30,000 case study that we did. So you had your first $30,000 a month, and then now 6-figure months are like a no-brainer, easy thing for you to create. And so I want to talk about that journey. I want to talk about some of the tools in your arsenal, some of the things that you had to go through to be able to consistently up level again and again. Because I think this is the conversation that most people don't have. We were also talking about when I first met you in person, right? So this is why I think you're the textbook example of it.
Because I'm 6 feet tall?
Yes. So you don't know, when you're on the internet, you don't know how tall people, and a lot of y'all short. We ain't short. A lot of y'all short. Let's just tell the truth. Y'all show up in the room and we like, you all of 4 foot 9.5 inches, maybe 4'10". Just tiny. But we're big women. I'm 5'9", and Gabrielle is 6 feet tall. And so I remember watching you walk into the room. And I just told you this. I don't even think I've ever told you this before. I was standing across the room and I saw you come in and you had your cute purse and you had a cute suit on and you were literally hunched over, tiptoeing in the room like they can't see me.
Yeah.
And that is exactly who my clients are. You are actually big in energy and big in stature, right? Big in posture, big in stature. My clients have big energy. And the world somehow makes us feel like you can't be that big. You said it earlier, you can't take up space. So I want to talk about that. Talk about, that mindset of crouching down and not being big and not taking up space.
I remember, I think the reason why this memory is coming to me because it stands out in my mind. It was the moment when I realized you get penalized for being bigger. I was at my 6th grade graduation and they put me on the back of the line because I was taller than everybody in my class. Yeah. I was the tall. So I was at the back of the line at the end, and I'm back there like, okay, so I have to, I think that was the core memory where I realized I have to make myself smaller. I'm gonna be in the back. That's the best example I could use. And I think that was a core memory because I think ever since then, I kind of had like this like slouch where I would literally not stand straight because I'm trying to make myself small, right? And even as I grew and, got to where I'm at today, as I was getting to where I'm getting where I'm at now, I feel like every time I would show a little bit of my big energy, it would be too much. You're being extra. And y'all know I own extra now. I'm extra. I'm extra bougie.
You get to own that.
Okay. I own that now. But back then, it was not a good thing. It was seen as you're standing out. And again, I'm not only 6 feet tall. I'm plus size. I'm a big girl. So as a big girl, as a plus size woman, period, you are taught that you can't take up space. And I was giving the example of being on the plane where I'm on the plane. I'm in first class. I actually booked a first class ticket, which it was leaving St. Thomas to go to Miami. And first class is different in that it's not like it's separate seats. It's just the front of the plane. And I remember getting my luggage from, where we landed. So I'm getting my luggage so I can leave because I'm at the front of the plane, right? And this lady started going off of me. You're too big to be doing all that. You need to sit down and wait. You're too big to be trying to reach over and get your luggage. And I'm in my mind like, what am I supposed to do? I'm in the front. I'm supposed to leave first. Mm. And so it just further shows the example of when you're a plus size woman and you're 6 feet tall, how dare you take up space? As a big woman, you're not supposed to be cute. You're not supposed to dress cute. I'm going to tell you how I know people don't think you're supposed to be cute and dress pretty. Is because when I wear stuff like a bathing suit or a bikini or 2-piece, you're so brave. I'm brave for existing.
For wearing a bathing
I'm
suit.
afraid for dressing. No, it's because you believe that as a plus size woman, I'm not supposed to be wearing the thing that everyone else wears.
Yeah.
And it is in subtle little things like that that you as a big woman get cues that you can't take up space. Yeah. And so no wonder I walked into the room like this. I didn't even realize because it was so ingrained in me subconsciously by society that you can't take up space. You have to blend in and fit in. And so even though I'm big and I know this, I'm big in stature, subconsciously, I'm trying to hide. I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to fit in with everybody else. So it's such a good scenario to bring up because it really makes me realize that I've grown so much.
Absolutely.
Bro.
I know that a lot of you are listening and you hear yourself in what Gabrielle is saying. And so, Gabrielle, I'm going to ask you a question so that you can draw some lines and maybe somebody else can identify with it. When you watch that theme in your life, even though that was about your physical appearance, how did it start to show up in your business?
It started to show up with, first of all, by undercharging. Undercharging, dressing the way that I think I should be, or showing up the way that I think I should be showing up, being online like everybody else is being online, so I can blend in and do what everybody else is doing and say what everyone is saying and all the jargons that everyone talk about, say it the way that they say it. I remember being so insecure because I'm not a talker. I don't talk eloquently. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not here to like be thusing and thouing you to death. Like, that's not who I am. And henceforth, I'm not that person. And I realized that. And even with me not having a college degree, that really showed up where I was insecure about all of those things. And so I would just kind of like try to hide and just muscle through things just because I had to do it. And that made I realized that I was coasting by in business. I was existing and I was not thriving because I was not being who I am. I am a giant in my energy. I am gigantic in my energy. I'm a gigantic in stature. And so I was not being true to who I am, and it was showing up. I mean, when you're not being true to who you are in business, you can't close clients because people can feel that. It messes with sales as well. Yeah. You're not getting what you need to be getting because people can feel that you're not being who you are. Even if it's on the opposite end of things, it's a positive thing, but you're not being who you are. And they can feel that. Like, they can feel you holding back. They can feel you being reserved. Yeah. Something is not right here. They don't know what it is, but something.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think that if their business isn't successful, if they're not finding clients, they need to find new clients or find a new strategy. And I was one of those people too. I was chasing strategy and chasing strategy and chasing strategy. And I've made some big investments. I've invested 5 figures in mentors in my business. I've invested 6 figures in mentorship in my business. And what I found is the truth for me when my business started to take off, and you can say whether or not you find this to be true too. The truth for me in my business wasn't that it took off because I found the holy grail magic pixie dust to sprinkle on me. What I needed was full ownership of who I be.
Absolutely.
I had to give myself permission to let all of this blue feather, blue hair, glasses, blinky, whatever, come out and be okay with it unapologetically. And when I did, the frequency of who I be, the resonance of who I am started calling out to people who I was meant to serve.
Absolutely. Same here. For me, I remember I used to pride myself on being a tomboy. I used to pride myself on being a tomboy, being masculine. I was in volleyball, basketball, all those things, right? And I remember my mom was like, oh my God, like, please wear a skirt, please. And because I was trying to fit in, because I'm big. So when you're big and tall, you can't be feminine. You have to be the tomboy, one of the masculine, because no one's looking at you in that way, right? Like when you grew up in high school. So I always would find my way trying to fit in until I own, like, I'm bougie. I like designer stuff. I like to wear makeup. I'm a pink girl. Okay. I like all the bangles and the jigglings, and I like all of it. I'm gonna own it. And I remember owning it and starting to wear my makeup and like being beat. I'm beat every day, y'all. If you don't know who I am.
Every day, even when she's laying on her back.
I'm beat daily. Y'all get, if you're in LA, you probably see me in my head tie and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm beat daily, like, because I love it. It's not a chore. Most people are like, I'm not doing all that makeup. I'm like, this is my self-care. What are you talking about? This is how I take care of myself every day.
Well, ma'am, it's a chore, but you handle that.
No, this is my fun. This is what I enjoy doing. It's therapeutic for me, right? But it wasn't until I owned that I'm bougie. Yeah. I like nice things. I like makeup. I'm girly and feminine. It wasn't until then that I started attracting people who were like, I too like this. Let me tell you, I have people who come in my circle and they're like, what drew me to you was your makeup, girl. And then I was watching your videos. And what drew me to you because you dress in this way and your nails are done or whatever. We connect on that level. Mm-hmm. It was because it's me. It's who I am. I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not. Mm-hmm. I'm being myself. And people connect with that more than when I was trying to hide and blend in with everybody else. I thought blending in was going to get me the clients, but being myself is what really attracted my high-end clients to me.
I love it. And I love that you just ended with high-end clients because that was the next thing that I was thinking of. I want you to understand that what she's talking about is not like, oh, I'm getting clients now. These are people who are paying her $30,000, $50,000 more, right? These are the clients she dreamt about when she was pretending to be someone else. She was a fraud. She was a fraud. I'm just going to say it. Because I was too. I was walking around in blue suits and a string of pearls, trying to be professional.
Same though. I was actually wearing the pearls and all that stuff. I was doing all of that.
Yeah. And now, like I have clients, I have 6-figure clients, right? It's insane to me. And so that's the key. That's the signature that draws people in. It's identity. So there's 2 pieces to this too. You know, it's allowing yourself to be 100% in your power, but then it's also how you see yourself. Yes. Right? Your self-identity must match. It must align with who you desire to be and what you desire to create. So if you see yourself as, well, there's all these people above me who are better than me at this thing. Like, I love that Gabrielle said, I'm the best in the world at that. That's all that matters. Some of y'all might want to quantify that. It doesn't matter. How she sees herself is what draws into her what she desires. And so my request to you is that you check yourself, search yourself. Where in your life does your identity or how you see yourself not align with who you desire to be? You desire millionaire status? Do you see yourself as that now, today? How has we talked a little bit about how your identity has changed in like the outward appearance, but on the inside, like in order for you to go from the chick that was sitting on the phone with me, like can't fathom. I remember you saying, well, I'm just going to believe you that I could do $10,000 for this.
That was like, corporations will pay that. No problem. Like a corporation can do that, but an individual, that was what I was having an issue with. Right.
And so what has shifted, right, in your identity that allows you to allow people to invest with you at a higher level, for you to put that price tag on it and just sit in it and say, it is what it is.
You know what has shifted for me? It's the fake humility. How do I explain that? So as women, we're taught to kind of be humble. You can't be saying I'm the best in the world at this, or you have to be humble. Mm-hmm. And I think I threw that fake humility out the way because I'm amazing at what I do. I get results, period. And I had to own it. I wasn't owning it. When you're not being who you are, you're also not owning who you are. Mm-hmm. And who I am is someone who is amazing at what I do, period. And for me, it was throwing all those fake humility, corporate speak out the window and just being myself and owning who I am. Yeah. Owning, like I don't have a college degree. I said it earlier. I'm not an eloquent speaker. I own all of that. It is what it is. And yet, I'm amazing at what I do, period. Mm-hmm. And that's what shifted in me. It was, I don't have to have a college degree to charge 30 grand for what I do. I don't have to have a college degree to work with clients who have their doctorates degree. The minute I shifted that in my mind was the minute I started having clients who are doctors. I have 2 clients, 2 of them who are doctors, like literally have their doctorates and are academic people. They're academic. I mean, like they are amazing. When I listen to them speak, I'm like, wow, you are brilliant. And you chose me to be your coach because I'm amazing at what I do. I'm brilliant in what I do. When I started to own that and like really let that sink in and not like pretend, because a lot of times we're like, I'm good at what I do, but we're pretending, like we don't really believe that for real. But when I started to really believe that, like, not just saying like, I'm good at what I do, when I really started to know in my heart and in my mind and my heart, I am brilliant at what I do, things started to shift for me. And there was like this switch that turned on, this light bulb that turned on where people just started to be like, no, for real, you are good at what you do and I need you like yesterday. That was the biggest switch. It was like getting rid of that, all that fake humility stuff and just owning who I am.
I love it. One of the things I'm always talking about is how your highest level clients are the ones who pull on your gifts. They cause you to pull on your gifts in the biggest way. And most people with the fake humility, the fake confidence, all of the things, they are okay with rescuing people.
Absolutely.
And they're intimidated by anyone who shows up in their world that will cause them to have bigger self-leadership, right? So they are a doctor and you don't have a degree, or they are famous and you're just you. And you're like, well, why do they want me? And what happens is we end up self-sabotaging all of those opportunities because of how we see ourselves. So we come right back full circle to identity. When people show up in your world and they want to work with you, it's because they see how they need you. Absolutely. And we have to have the courage and the guts to serve those who show up in our world.
Yeah. I was totally that person. I was a rescuer. I was putting on my Superwoman cape every day. Like, I'm doing amazing business because I'm rescuing people. And I remember having a breakdown when someone who had that degree and was speaking that eloquent, in an eloquent way, I self-sabotaged that. I'll never forget. I talked about this before where I was like, it was at that moment I knew. There was a couple of things going on, a couple of lessons that I learned from this experience. There was a doctor. She is a physician, and she booked a call with me and I overslept. I didn't show up to the call. And I messaged like,
that's self-sabotage to the highest degree.
Oh my God. Like
I don't think I ever heard this story before.
No. This is like right. I think it was around the time when I hired her, just earlier on. She booked a call with me, and I didn't show up to the call. I overslept. I booked it early, knowing that everyone knows me. You don't have a call with me until after 1 o'clock. It's not happening, okay? But I booked it like at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not a morning person, and I that was back when I was trying to be the morning person entrepreneur. And I'm not doing that anymore. But I didn't show up to the call. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. Can we reschedule? And she was like, why would I reschedule with you? You didn't show up to a call. Like, this is a good example of what it's going to be like working with you. No. When I told you that thing hit me, I was like, whew. Man down. That hit me so hard. Because I self-sabotage because she's a doctor. And I'm like, I'm not worthy of having a client who's a physician.
Yeah.
I'm not worthy of that. And I was like, get yourself together, Gabrielle. Clearly, if these people are booking these calls, it's because they want to work with you. And there's something about you that is calling to them that says, I need this. Yeah. Stop getting in your own way.
Yes.
And so that was a minute when I decided I want to work with people who are, in societally viewed as in a higher status than me in terms of like, how their standings, right? Whether that be, senators, whether that be lawyers, doctors who have college degrees and I don't. I have to get out of my own way because we are all equal. They are people at the end of the day, and that person needs a service that I can provide. It doesn't matter if I have a college degree or not. What matters is I get results, period. And that's it.
So I hope you hear this, because I too have had several self-sabotaging moments. I had a famous adjacent person show up in my world, totally sabotage the whole entire thing. Before I got to this whole self-identity, I hadn't learned this lesson yet. And it happens, right? It happens because of how we see ourselves, right? You said, I felt unworthy to serve someone at that level. Here's what I want to bring up. People who are frauds, who aren't giants, but masquerade around the world as if they are giants, do not have those moments where they feel unworthy. They Absolutely. Just masquerade. Their confidence is intact all the time. So if you're listening and you've had some self-sabotaging moments like this, like, who am I to serve at this level? Who am I to have clients who show up who look like this? Who am I to have people who are willing to pay me this much money? There is likely a call in your life, and what you have to come to grips with is, boo, you are who you are.
Yeah.
You are who you are. You've always known there's something. Like, you can not tell me you didn't know something in your life. You just knew. Like, we don't always know exactly what it's going to be, but you know, I'm about to do something in this life.
And it was scary.
Your life manifests junk, right? As you're figuring it out on this walk and this journey to come in. We were talking about this yesterday. I don't remember who I was interviewing, but we were talking about baby giants. Like, a baby giant is still a giant, right? When a baby giant is born, it's still a giant. You can't take that away. Mm. And so when you come into full ownership of it, not worrying about whether or not other people, because you're not going to hurt other people, right? Mm. The unworthiness and the feeling like I can't take up space because I'm going to step on somebody, that's society gave that to you. The fact that you're even concerned about it tells you you're not going to do it. Because folks who are stepping on other people are not concerned about it. They're not worrying about taking up space. They're just taking up everybody's space without even thinking about it. And so you get the opportunity to choose to be in the full power of who you are, because that's how you're going to be in the highest service of everyone. When you think about like 2 to 3 things that you would want to say to somebody who's like you were 3 years ago, right? Big knowing, big desire, like, you knew, you're like, I'm building something. It's going to be great. I'm going to be great. I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to have all the stuff, but it wasn't manifesting. What's 3 things that you would share?
Before I get into the 3 things, I want to say I was watching the Kanye West documentary, and his mom, Donda, I think her name is, said, when giants look in the mirror, they don't see a giant. And a lot of people who are parading, and you were saying that earlier, they see giants. They're like, I'm a giant. I'm doing this thing. It's a giant who's looking in the mirror like, I just see a person, right? So, I just want to say, like, that's how I felt. I felt like, all the people around me who are, I can clearly see that, not all people, but all the people around me who are frauds. I was like, I can clearly see that you're not doing what you're supposed to do, but here we are. And I'm here hiding and fighting to be seen, So the 3 things that I would say is, number 1, own who you are. The biggest thing that you can do is just own all of you, even the parts that you consider to be flaws or you consider to be not right. Own who you are, work on who you are, but own who you are. That's the biggest thing. Own who you are. The second thing I would say is, if you are amazing at what you do, don't be afraid to share that. Please don't be afraid to share that you are brilliant, you are amazing at what you do, and you deserve and want more. The biggest thing is wanting more. Like, especially when you go up in the church, you have this thing of you have to like not ask for a lot, or you have to, it's almost like they glorify not having more. It's okay to want more and have more. Yeah. And the other thing is, be around people who will see the giant inside of you and call the giant out. Like, I didn't even know you were looking at me in the room walking with my shoulders hunched, but you saw that. That was something that you noticed. Someone else wouldn't notice that like that. Like, that's how people walk, right? That's how people would normally walk around. It's not a thing. Maybe she's doing the church hands when you're in church and you have to put your hand up. And, you don't know, like, but you saw something else. You saw that Gabrielle's a giant and she's hiding. You saw it for what it was. And so the biggest part is being around people who's going to see the giant inside of you and call the giant out and allow the giant to be the one that's thriving and living. And when you look yourself in the mirror, you see the giant that you are. You're not just looking at the mirror and seeing a person. You're seeing the giant. You're seeing the actual giant that you are. That would be the 3 things I would say, because those 3 things is what has allowed me to get to where I'm at today.
Love it. I wish I had a pom-pom. I don't. I only have a bottle of water, so I'm going to shake that. We are 3 for 3 or 6 for 6. I don't know how many interviews we've done, but every person, when I ask them to give 3 things, the last one is always about community. Mm-hmm. It's always about surrounding yourself with people who will allow you to own your giant status, who will reflect it back to you. I love that you ended it with, get to the point where when you look in the mirror, you see the giant. Mm-hmm. That's when the game changes, because you see you. You're no longer hiding in plain sight. When you're hiding your giantness, that's a word now, from yourself, what makes you think the world can see it? And we want it. We want people to see, don't they see how great I am? No, boo. They do not. Because you got to see it first.
Absolutely.
You got to see it first. So I am going to ask you to give one more word of wisdom. What I'm going to do in the interim is I am going to invite them to the Giants Masterclass micro program to hang out with us for that. So think about this. What would you say to Gabrielle? Young Gabrielle, mid-20s Gabrielle, early 20s Gabrielle. What's the words of wisdom that you would share with her, knowing where you are today and knowing what you have gone through? All right. So just think about that. For those of you who are listening, I'm doing a masterclass. It's actually a micro program. It's 10 full days called Giants. And I want to invite you to join me for that class, for you to register. And before you register, I want to share something with you because I have 3 scholarships available this week for this class. So it's $777. If this conversation is pulling on you and you're like, that's me, I'm a giant in hiding. I'm like walking around the land, hunched over like they can't see me, trying not to take up space, but there's nothing you could do about it, boo, because your bigness is vast. If this conversation is calling on you and you're ready to peel off those layers, I want to invite you to join us. I think it's April 26th that we kick it off. And then we're going to be together in a container for 10 full days. If you message me the word Giants, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, I will give you a secret code that you can use that will allow you to join this class for $197. Why am I doing this? I like to do 2 things: reward people who are action takers and who are not afraid to ask for what they want. But I also want to make sure that there's no excuses for you being in the room, boo. Because if I can tell you anything, the unveiling of me, the revealing and the ownership of my power is what has changed the game. When I walk into a room, there will always be at least one person who says there is something about you and you just sit in the certainty of who you are. You just know yourself and I can see it. It happens to me all the time. And I giggle inside because there's not a room that I go in that someone doesn't pull me aside and say that. They're like, I don't have anything to say, but I just wanted to say that. And then they thank me because it did something. It was a gift for them. I desire that for you. This is not for everybody. Everybody's not a giant. This is not like, come learn how to be a giant. Baby giants are already giants. You are a giant, but you know that more of you needs to be revealed. This is for you. And Gabrielle, so I want to go back to you, to this conversation with baby Gabby.
Honestly, I would say it doesn't matter what you've experienced. It doesn't matter the traumas you've had to endure. It doesn't matter if you're Black, if you're 6 feet tall, if you're plus size, if you gain weight, if you lose weight, if you have a college degree or not. Take up space. Take up the damn space. It's yours. Take it up. You belong there. And I'm getting emotional. You belong. Yeah. You belong. You're supposed to be there. There for a reason. And when you're there, don't just show up and hide. Show up and take up space. That's what I would say to her.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You belong everywhere that you are. Period. Everywhere that you are. I appreciate you so much for sharing. You're so smart. Sharing your wisdom, sharing you. It's beautiful to see you 100% be yourself. I can't even, it's just beautiful. I joke with you about beating your face down and all of that stuff, but it's the most beautiful thing to see because that wasn't always the case. And to see it unveil more and more and more and see you call into your life exactly what you want, right? From the girl who's like, where are the people? You show me the people who will pay me $10,000 to
30K package being my best-selling program.
Exactly, to a $30,000 package being your best-selling program. I'm so proud of you. And I'm honored to be your mentor and to be alongside of you for this journey, because this, boo, is just the beginning.
I'm going to snap to that.
Just the beginning. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
I think that's a wrap. I think we're done.
Yeah.
I hope you join us for Giants Masterclass, and I hope this empowers you, encourages you, inspires you to step into the fullness of who you be, because it ain't YouTube, it ain't Facebook, it ain't Instagram, it's not content creation. None of that's going to get you where you want to go. None of it.
Yeah.
What we're talking about today is everything. It's everything. Go be a giant today, not tomorrow, today. Bye, loves.
Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment. Like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.